We started as colleagues, ended as enemies having sex. A workplace affair story, throwaway, because I still work in a corporation, long. In the US, it's going to be dirty, emotional, and without romanticizing. Just how it really was. I'm 29. Let's call me L. He's 34. Let him be E. We met in Chicago, in a glass hell called a Fortune 500 consulting company. I joined as an analyst, smart, hungry, drowning in college debt, and with a habit of proving I wasn't a presentation girl. He was a senior project manager, charismatic, cold, the kind of man who rarely smiles, but when he does, everyone freezes. Chapter 1. Colleagues. For the first few months, there was nothing between us. He marked up my reports in red. I hated him for every correction. He hated me for arguing back. "You're crossing boundaries," he said once in a conference room. "And you're afraid of being corrected," I replied. Silence. HR-level silence. The kind after which you either get fired or promoted. I stayed. So did he. And from that moment on, we became forcibly close. Late-night deadlines, airports, hotels, coffee at 2:47 a.m., when the air conditioners hum and your brain stops filtering. No touching, no looks. Just tension, like a live wire. Chapter 2. The breaking point, the first time everything cracked, was in Seattle. We were sitting in the hotel bar after a 14-hour day. I was drinking whiskey because I was tired of pretending. He was drinking because that's what he always did. "You know they consider you problematic?" he said without malice. "And they consider you an asshole," I answered. He laughed. "For real?" For the first time. "So which one is true?" "Both." We looked at each other for too long, not like colleagues, like people who see weakness. I left first. He didn't follow, and that was the mistake. Chapter 3. When hatred becomes personal, a month later, he destroyed my project at the board meeting. Not intentionally, formally, but he did it in a way that made it look like I had screwed up. I walked out of the room and cried in the bathroom. 10 minutes later, he was standing outside the door. "This wasn't against you. It's always against me when you're around." We were yelling, in whispers, angry whispers. He said I was too emotional. I said he was afraid of women who were smarter than him. And then he did what he never should have done. He stepped too close. I said, "Step back." He didn't. And that was it. From that moment on, we stopped being colleagues. Chapter 4. Sex as enemies. It wasn't beautiful sex, not a workplace romance. It was a breakdown. No kissing at first, no words. As if we were both angry at the fact that we wanted each other. After, silence. I sat on the edge of the bed and hated myself. He stared at the ceiling and said nothing. "This won't happen again," I said. "Agreed," he said. We both knew we were lying. Chapter 5. The spiral. The next 6 months were hell. By day, enemies. By night, a secret. In meetings, ice. In hotels, a war of bodies. We didn't have dinner together, didn't hold hands. We used each other, every time, like it was the last. Every time, with a promise to stop. He started getting jealous, even though he had no right. I started waiting for his messages, even though I despised myself for it. And it would have gone on like that, if not for... Chapter 6. HR. Someone reported us. Someone always does. I was called in first. "Did you have inappropriate relations with your supervisor?" I stared at the table and thought about how fast a career can collapse. He took the blame. All of it. I stayed. He was fired. Chapter 7. A romance-free ending. On his last day, he packed his things and didn't say goodbye. I thought it would be easier. It wasn't. A year later, I found out he moved to Texas. Got married. Became a father. We never spoke again. Sometimes I wonder, was it love? Or just two broken people who confused hatred with intimacy? I don't regret it. But if you think a workplace affair is all passion and adrenaline, sometimes it's just two enemies who are left without weapons. TLDR. We started as colleagues, became enemies, ended in sex, lost a job, our illusions, and each other. In corporations, it's not feelings that survive, it's reputations. Update 1. I didn't think anyone would care about this at all. I didn't expect this kind of reaction. I posted it at night, and in the morning, I woke up to 300 plus notifications. The comments split cleanly into 3 camps. 1. He used you. 2. You're an adult, you knew what you were getting into. 3. This was a toxic relationship, and you're both at fault. Honestly, all of them are right. But there's something I didn't include in the original post. And maybe I should have. After he was fired, HR called me in again. Not formally, not politely. They hinted that if I ever said the relationship wasn't fully consensual, the company would defend itself with every lawyer they have. And yes, 3 months later, I was offered a promotion. The same position we had both once been aiming for. I accepted. Not because I wanted to win, but because turning it down would have meant everything had been for nothing. The ugliest part? Sitting in his old office, I felt emptiness, not victory, for the first time. Update 2. He messaged me. A year later, I wasn't planning on writing this update, but today, he messaged me. Just a LinkedIn message. No, hey, how are you? No nostalgia. I saw your post. I realized it was you. I'm not angry. I just want to say that I really was wrong. And yes, I ruined everything. I stared at the screen for about 10 minutes. I didn't reply. Because here's the truth I've come to over the past year. This wasn't love. It wasn't just lust. It was a war between 2 people who didn't know how to be vulnerable. I don't want closure anymore. I don't want explanations. I don't want a final conversation in the rain like in a movie. I hit archive. And you know what? That was the most mature thing I did in this entire story.